How you doing, YouTube? Matt, Massive Beer Reviews, back with another review. A little bit of, peppered dark beer in the form of Adriot Theory. It's The Devil Made Me. It is a smoke porter with serrano peppers. How about that shit? Say what? This was given to me by Sean. Thank you very much, brother. Sent me off a big box of beers. And I am going to review them. Some mystery, some not. Get my dog hair off that. And let's crack into this sucker. As far as what it says on here, it says Adriot Theory, The Devil Made Me Smoke Porter with Serrano Peppers. It has a bunch of like serial killers in the background. So it has a serial killer thing going on. On the side here, it says Fire and Brimstone. The fitting destination, the end of the terrible path. The faces, Gracie, Mason, Dahmer. Why do they do it? Why does the devil come? Where does the devil come from? Are they products of their environment, or is there a darker force at work? Red lettering on black, kind of hard. Many questions, but few answers. Fill your glass and brood on the wickedness latent in the human heart. Then raise the glass in a toast to judgment and justice. Just don't look in the eyes, for you might see yourself. Okay. Butcher debt, but, you know, red on black. What are you going to do? And label-wise, it's all right. You know, kind of like a cheesy font. And, you know, serial killers. What are you going to do? Adriot Theory, I've had a couple beers from them. My buddy Chris and Rob, they go down that way every now and then. And I've had a couple. 2 tree. So let's see what the sucker has. Now, peppers and beers, I can really get down with them if they're done right. I've had ones that have really kind of turned me on absolutely fantastically. I've had ones that have scorched the shit out of my butthole. So we'll see where this one lands. That looks pretty, though. I mean, look at that. Rich dark blackness, almost 2 fingers, where I like my coffee to look like. Maybe close to the malted malt color. I mean, not too bad. Crumbling pretty quick. Maybe a little bit of oil from those kind of serrano peppers, but we'll see. Let's get a nose. It's nice, man. It's got a nice rich chocolate component just south of medium. Like if you took baker's chocolate, milk chocolate into medium, just south of that, kind of chocolate wise. It has a soft kind of creaminess to it, but at the same time you're getting that rich roastiness of that kind of baker's chocolate, a little bit of soft bitterness from the roasted malts. There's a soft green, like green pepper skin thing. I assume that's the pepper thing coming in there. And that green pepper skin thing you can get totally from beers that don't have peppers, but I'm getting it in here and I'm just assuming it's part of the pepper component. Yeah, it's nice. It's got like this soft milk stout vibe to it, even though it is a porter. It does have a fluffy creaminess in the nose that kind of lends itself to being a porter. How do you smell fluffiness? I don't know, but I do. But yeah, it smells all right. Better than all right. Let's take a sip. Cheers. Okay. I always like to take 2 big sips of a nice peppered beer to see where it's going to take me. You're getting that nice fluffy creaminess you expect from a porter. So it's porter all the day. There's a nice rich maltiness to it, although there is a big bittering component. I believe it's a lot of roasted malts. I don't think there's a ton of hops in here. It's a little bit thin. It has a creamy fluffiness to it, but it ends up kind of dissipating really quick. So it has that creamy fluffiness and it dissipates. So while it has that creaminess, it drops out real quick. The pepper portion of the show is almost spot on exactly where I want peppers to lie. Like I said, it had this kind of milk vibe on the nose, and I was kind of hoping there might be a little bit of kind of lactose in the beer. There's not. The reason why I want that lactose is it keeps that pepper in check. It's kind of like when people want to drink milk after eating a pepper. It just tempers that heat you're getting that heat. It's biting the back of my throat, and it wants to get big, but it never got there. That's why I took 2 big sips. When you actually take a nice gulp of a pepper beer, you get a little bit of that pepper kind of floating around. The more you let it sit, the more you talk, the more air that moves up and down. It seems like, you know, that kind of heat kind of rises on most of these pepper beers, much is the case with this one. But it doesn't get to the point where it gets uncomfortable. It gets to the point where it's almost uncomfortable, which is kind of where I want my peppers to lay. So kudos to these guys for actually like laying it in that level. But that's it. I mean, you get a little bit of that smoke malt vibe, a little bit of that rich kind of peat mossiness, just subtleness, a little bit of smokiness, nothing too crazy. So it's definitely a smoked porter. It has that body and creaminess and fluffiness of being a porter, but like I said, it drops out real quick. So it ends up being thin in the long run. But the way that pepper plays is probably my favorite component about the beer. But not enough to make it like world-class stellar shit for me. It's tasty, it's fun. I like the interplay between all the ingredients. I don't want to lactose the shit out of anything. 9 times out of 10, if I have a lactose IPA, I kind of want it not to be a lactose IPA. But I'm saying this beer needs to have a touch of lactose. Maybe bump up that chili, bump up the serrano pepper, put a little lactose in it, get it just a couple ABVs higher. Let it play a little bit. Not that I want like balls to the wall, hair on fire beers all the time. I feel like this one would play a little bit better with a little bit of volume. And the reason why, we'll touch on that point again, the reason why I like the lactose and the pepper thing together, because there's a big break between the beginning and end of the pepper. On this, the pepper ends where I want it to, but it has a soft, gradual rise to it. So you get it, and you're like, it's going to get hot, it's going to get hot. Oh, here it comes, it's getting hot. And you're like, oh, is it going to get there? And while it's getting towards the edge, you kind of feel this kind of soft coasting. To where you're like, oh, it's going to keep getting hotter, but I don't know, it might end. And then it just softly dissipates towards the end. When you have that kind of lactose thing, it starts off as much the same track, but it just goes straight up and then almost plateaus, because with that lactose keeping that pepper in check, you can have that big check, you can have that big drop off, and that kind of excites me a little bit more when it comes to the chili beers. But I like it, I dig it. It's a big chili component, not just from heat either. You're definitely getting that kind of skinny, tasty, tannic kind of vegetal thing going on with it. The smoke portion of the show is enough to let you know it's a smoked beer, but it's not over the top. Mouthfeel is cool at the beginning, but kind of let you down in the end because it kind of dissipates really quickly. But a fun beer. I like the way it's built. I like the way it shows. It just not viscerally just knee-jerk awesome for me. Not all beers are, but interesting is fun. This beer is interesting. So there you go. Let's talk about it. Is it one of the better smoked chili porters I've had as of late? It would default to number 1, because I don't remember the last time I had one. Is it one of the better porters, stark adjunct porters I've had? Let's go that broad. On the outside looking in. And I'm not just saying that because I'm putting it in a big, huge lump of beers. I like it for its personality and how interesting it is. It just misses some marks for me. So take that for what it's worth. Value and availability, no idea. Maybe Sean can chime in and leave you with, if you like, what will you like this beer? If you like, chilies, if you like your smoke bits and pieces of beer, if you like your porters and you want them all in one package. I mean, the chilies do really play really well in this beer. So if that's your jam, then this will probably do you proper. It's just a little bit too kind of, it's missing a component for me to kind of take it over the top. But let's put it this way. If I saw this on, having tasted this, if I saw this on a shelf, would I buy it? No. If I never had this before and I saw it on the shelf, would I buy it? I actually can't speak to that because that's kind of weird to talk about. But if I saw it in draft, would I have it? Yes. I would absolutely try this on draft. I mean, chances are you'd only get it on draft in a brewery. I'm just trying to illustrate a point. It's interesting enough for me to try again. I don't know if I'd buy a bottle, but if 3 of my friends were at a bottle shop, let's crack a weird bottle. Everybody chip in a couple bucks towards this. It might be a fun experiment. especially if you like chilies. There you go. Another review on the books. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers. If you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive. If you want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a nice smoked peppered beer right now. And hope to see you next time. Cheers.